You may have heard that Japanese maples need full shade, but that's only half true because half of the varieties can actually tolerate a whole lot more sun than we give them credit for. Today, we're going to talk about the differences between sun and shade Japanese maples, the uprights and the cascading types, and where they can fit best into your landscape in your yard, because the Japanese maple can fit in any landscape. All right, we're here underneath the canopy of this perfect fire glow Japanese maple. This is an amazing variety, and there's a couple that are right in line with this fire glow, like Bloodgood, that's been around for a really long time, or Emperor One, and of course Fire Glow. These are varieties that are gonna have a more upright structure with this burgundy leaf, and they can tolerate full sun. Full sun, 6 to 8 hours of that hot sun, not a problem for these guys. The reason that these can tolerate more sun than some of the lace leaf varieties that we're gonna get into next are because they've got a broader leaf. Because they have a broader leaf, they also have a thicker leaf. These thicker leaves transpire less, which means they lose less water through their leaf surface, which allows them to be in the sun longer. The lace leaf varieties are just gonna dehydrate faster, which means they're going to require a little bit more shade. These are some of my favorite varieties. The nice thing about these broadleaf varieties is they can be used as a focal point. As you can see, the structure of the tree and the trunk as it matures is awesome. And then you can also use them on the corner of a house, or you can use them in groupings. These are plants that really do well as an anchor, as a focal point, or as a spot that you want to really highlight in the garden. The cool thing about the broadleafs is not only do they have amazing structure and form, they also have great color. This is actually the summer color that we're getting in the foliage of this Japanese maple right now. As it comes out in the spring, the fire glow, the name, is true. It comes out with this amazing on fire glow that just stands out in the landscape. Again, the summer color happens. It gets a little more muted in the summer because of the heat, because of the sun and the rainfall. And then in the fall time, the sugars get trapped and the fall color is amazing. Once again, with bright, bright fire glow colors. So these upright varieties are where we will bust the first myth that Japanese maples don't just live in the shade. These upright varieties also do amazing in full sun. All right, we're here with one of the lace leaf maples. This is the Orangeola. Now we're in a yard with an amazing collection of Japanese maples. So we're gonna show you some of the differences in summer color and in habit of the lace leaf maples. But this Orangeola gets a lot of shade in this landscape and in this yard. So right now you're seeing it in more of its green coloration, but the Orangeola in the springtime really comes out this orange and red and green kind of mottled together. But why people like Orangeola is because of its compact yet cascading habit. It really has this dense canopy of really cascading branches. When it loses its leaves in the winter, the Orangeola has amazing umbrella structure that stands out in the landscape. The lace leaves, which are the dissectums, these deeply, deeply cut leaves, they're very thin, very feathery, and all just so delicate to touch. But because of that, a lot of these varieties in the lace leaves really need morning sun and afternoon shade. Ideally, eastern exposure or under mottled light, like under this canopy where you're really getting filtered light throughout the course of the day. These deeply cut like this means they have less surface area, but they also have more of the leaf margins where they're losing water through transpiration, which means they're more susceptible to some of that summer sunburn just from desiccation. Wind and heat, dry it out, you'll get a little leaf burn. It's not detrimental to the overall health of the plant. It can be if it's for a long period of time, but that desiccation that can happen sometimes in July and August in Kansas City generally means it's getting a little bit too much of that afternoon sun. They can grow out of that, they can recover from that the next year, but once that leaf is scorched, it's not gonna green back up and give you the fall color that you're desiring. So placing or siting a lace leaf Japanese maple with that morning sun, afternoon shade is ideal for its thriving, for its success. We're gonna look at a couple other varieties where you're gonna really notice the difference in the summer color and what the foliage does when it gets a little bit more light. This is so densely shaded, you're getting a lot of green. Where we get morning sun, you're gonna get a lot more reds. What I'm holding is the Orangeola right next to a Crimson Queen. There is a definite color difference in summer color. These are getting the same amount of light, a highly shaded area. This is the middle of the summer in Kansas City, so you're not gonna get those bright colors that you would normally get. In the early spring, they come out absolutely purple and red, then they fade to this in the summer, giving again wonderful fall color as we get down to cooler temperatures and that transition starts to happen. Crimson Queen, tried and true, has been around forever. It's gonna be a little bit broader, a little less narrow than the Orangeola, but it is one that loves morning sun, afternoon shade, it's perfect for it. If you want to know my favorite lace leaf in this yard, this has got to be it. This is the red dragon. I think it speaks for itself and its color. This is getting more light through the course of the day, which gives it a more robust color even through the summer. The other varieties would have more color if they had more sun through the course of the day, but this red dragon does stand out. It has an amazing shape and branch structure. If we look up underneath this, the canopy of this, the structure is insane. It's a standout and it's a picture perfect Japanese maple that actually thrives. All right, we're back with one of the other upright series. These are the full moon maples. Now they're Japanese maple, but it's one that almost doesn't look like a Japanese maple. The foliage is a little bit more rounded and it's got really awesome leaf structure and shape. This one's actually called Emmett's pumpkin and it's a standout in the fall. It's one of those that gives you green foliage throughout the course of the year. The branch structure is amazing, but the fall color is really what highlights this plant. It's an underutilized plant. The full moon maples really don't get enough credit. I think more of them should be used. The thing to know with this upright variety, like the full moons, they actually do prefer more shade than sun. So morning sun is preferred with afternoon shade. These are slower growing, which means a harder wood, but you have to know incredibly hardy, incredibly durable for our landscape, as long as they're sited in the right selection, in the right spot in your yard. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about the granddaddy of all Japanese maples. This is just Acer palmatum. It's the green variety. There is nothing unique about this variety other than it is what a lot of them are grafted to now. So this is the rootstock that many Japanese maples are grafted to, meaning they'll actually take two trees and put them together to create a specific variety that they want to repeat over and over again. The red leaf varieties oftentimes are grafted to the rootstock of this Acer palmatum. It's just a regular green Japanese maple. I've got a lot of these in my yard because it gives you that Japanese maple form while just being durable. It's just like any other tree in the landscape. It can handle the heat, it can handle the sun. They thrive and they love it. This one was planted a while ago as 3 young plants all in one hole, planted together to give a multi-trunk look, which I think is really awesome. And it's a great way to grow this plant in clumps or in groupings. I get asked, what's my favorite Japanese maple? That's not fair because there's a lot of them to choose from. I've had a lot of them over the years in my different yards, and this has to be my favorite out of all of them. But this one here is called Makawao Yatsu. Is a green leaf variety that can tolerate quite a bit of sun. It's more of that broadleaf type. It's more of an upright, but a compact upright rather than being super tall. They grow so slow. The leaves stack super, super tight, which gives it that kind of layered look that gives you the look of a bonsai in your yard. This is a piece of art. 3 different types of Japanese maples with 3 different looks. Talked about the full moon maples, talked about the lace leaf Japanese maples, and we talked about the upright Japanese maples. Come into any one of the 3 family tree nurseries. We'll help you pick the right Japanese maple for your yard, because every yard in Kansas City needs one of these show-stopping pieces of artwork. It's living art, they're Japanese maple, and they work great.